Hello everyone, today we're working on a lifelike BL2 in N scale, and it's missing the couplers, but other than that it's in pretty good shape. It's got the two little ladders there, it's got all the handrails, the horn, even the back handrails. It's got a little bit of dust on it, but nothing too scary. In fact, it's probably a good runner as it is. Let's go find out. Let me just put some power on it. Oh, it almost went there. It kind of wants to go. Gonna give it just a little bit more power. So yeah, it kind of wants to go, but definitely it needs a good cleaning. That's okay, that's what I'm good at. Somebody mentioned that the BL probably stood for bad looking. I'm not sure I agree on that, especially with this blue and yellow paint scheme. That looks pretty good to me. So the shell removal on these is pretty straightforward. You just pry on the sides here, and then that will release the two little clips, and there's weights in there. And then you have to be careful for the front so you don't hurt the little pocket there. You don't want to hurt this little pocket. And these have a peculiar setup for the light. It's there's just one light bulb in the middle of the engine, and there's two little light pipes bringing the light to the front and the back. So that is that. And then you got two little weights down here. I know I'm gonna take it apart. I mean, a guy could clean it from just that way. You could run something over the wheels as you put two wires to the contacts and spin it and run something to the wheel. I'm gonna take it apart all the way. I just like doing that. That's what I do. That is my fun thing. So you can remove the two weights. Sometimes these wires become unsoldered. So if that happens, obviously it's bad. These wires seem to be okay. I'm also going to test out the motor right away here. These spring, the little spring that connects the motor to the worm gear, they're actually okay. This is not a bad running locomotive. Give it a little bit more power, see what we got. Come on. Here we go. So it's already a pretty good runner. You just have to somehow get some power to the motor. So that's why we have to clean the wheels. So far so good. I'm gonna release the wheels. I'm just gonna press the little shaft here. I'm just gonna press this down and release that little shaft there. This is what it looks like. And then I cannot pull on this because it's wired in there, but it gives me just enough slack so that I can pull it down just a little bit. I don't want to pull too hard, but I'm going to pull it down just a bit, just enough to get the side frames up and over. If I could do that, that would be awesome. See, now this is the trick. I want to pull it down, but I don't want to hurt it. So I just have to take my time. So that, you can see it's full of dirt and pet hair and what have you. I'm gonna wash this with my toothbrush and some dish soap. The same with the wheels. Now I keep the gearbox, I keep it in there, but I will pull the wheels off one at a time like this. Same thing, I take my time because I don't want to break the little shaft. So we're halfway there actually. I still take my time. These little contact strips, they are also melted in there, so I cannot remove them, but I am going to clean them with my fingers here. I'm gonna put everything back to the way it was. Yeah, so a little cleaning is definitely gonna help this little guy. It's got some green stuff there. I'm not sure what that is, but it's pretty green. Maybe scenery foam. That could be a possibility. And then on the wheel there's a bunch of hair. They do get dirty over time. There's a bunch of hair from around the wheel, and there's some more over here. There's some more hair and stuff from over here. So anyways, you get the picture. It was pretty dirty. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to spread out the gearbox just a bit. I'm going to see if I can remove the two shafts from there. If I could, that would be awesome. Let me just work on that a little bit. Yeah, it turns out I'm able to spread it out quite a bit. And then I should be able to get the two shafts out. That would be great. Because I'm going to clean them too. Geez, this one really doesn't want to come out. But don't give up. Use gravity as your friend. And then they'll come out eventually. So in there, I've got one big gear and two little idler ones. I think these are going to stay there. And removing the two axles, that allows me to get in here and really clean this. I just clean them with my fingers, and then I'll bring a rag. Usually that's enough to get them going. So I'm gonna bring my rag and I'm gonna clean these up real nice. But I mean, remember, this engine wasn't working at all, which is probably why it got put on eBay in the first place. That's got plenty of lubrication from the factory, as you can see. So I'm gonna leave the inside of the gearbox, I'm gonna leave it like that. And then I'll focus on my wheels. And these axles, they will get cleaned. Even though I didn't get the 3 other gears, just cleaning these will help. It should be a real good runner by the time I'm done. And then we'll do these wheels. You're gonna see on my rag how dirty these were. So I do them with my finger. That's what I like. There's tools that they sell that have steel brushes, but the steel brushes are connected to something metallic, so they get powered. So you can run your engine right over them brushes. You know, I could buy one, but that's it. I just like taking my trims apart. So I never bought one. It would be handy though for a steam engine. A steam engine is a lot of work to take apart. These little diesels, they are pretty easy to do, so I don't complain. So there, you can tell the difference, which one is clean. I'm gonna do the 3 other ones off camera. So I wash everything with my toothbrush and some dish soap. That's gonna have plenty of time to dry. Same with the side frames. And everything, the wheels and the gears. So now I'm getting ready to put everything back together. So I use very light oil to do that. My other bottle, yeah, the BL2, that is the stuff that I use, very light. So I'll just put a little bit on all these little gears inside the engine here. I put just a little bit, not a lot. So put a little bit here, and on that big one, just a little bit. And then I'll bring back my my axles. So my axles, they'll just go back in like so. And then I'll put just a little bit on the inside there, just a drop, that's all you need. And then I'll put it all back together. You don't need a lot. And then these contact strips, they gotta have a little bit of springy action, but not too much. Just enough so they contact the wheels. And I bring my wheels back in. I'm just putting them very lightly at first, but soon we'll re-gauge everything and then we'll be ready to punch them in hard. But I just start very lightly. The little contact strip, it's pretty much on there. It's gonna line itself up properly. Yeah, that looks really good. Now I'm gonna re-gauge them. Use my trusty Microtrains height gauge, which has part of it for gauging the wheels. So that is a little bit too wide. Then check it again. I like them to be more tight than anything else, because that allows them to dance around on the rail, which is good. It's helpful for going around curves. Let me show you what I mean. See, they can still move a little bit from side to side, which makes it easier to go around curves. But the wheels are wider than the real train wheels, so it still stays on the tracks. That's a good compromise. When the engine's going down the rail, you can hardly see it. I'm still missing this part here that holds everything together. I'm going to get mad here because my wire got unsoldered. So that is kind of a big problem. It's really hard to do it without melting the surrounding plastic. So I will put just another drop on the worm gear, and that will be good. The next step is putting the side frames back on, but before I do that, since I have them in my hand, I'm going to repair the coupler. I have a bunch of couplers. I could at this stage put fake knuckle coupler, or they have Microtrains conversions. I could put them back in, but I think that on this engine doing something that was originally there, like rapidos. I think it's gonna be okay. I still have a lot of freight cars with rapido couplers, although I am slowly upgrading them. You know, micro trains, they do some really nice freight cars. So it's awful tempting to get some. Just to get something nice, you know. And it's made in the USA, the micro trains, so I feel good about that, you know, getting something that was made in the USA as opposed to that other country that does all the other N scale stuff. There's one company out of Japan that does really cool stuff. I'm just trying out this spring here. It might be just a little bit too big. Yeah, it's too big, so I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna use something smaller. I found a smaller one, so that's gonna go in there and put just enough pressure. And then that's that. Easy breezy, Japanesey. I had that little door backwards, so let's try that again. That's gonna look way better. Oh yeah, perfect. So I'm gonna put the side frames back on. So then that goes back in the same way that it came out. I just have to wiggle it in there. Then make sure the front is lined up, and then you can line up the back. I have put these upside down before, but this is a good time to check for that. Absolutely. Now I can reintroduce this little shaft, and it too gets a little bit of lubrication. Let me just start it and then put one drop. Perfect. And then we have to pass it through to the other side, but that shouldn't be too hard. They usually line up pretty easy. You want it to stick out evenly on each side, like that. That makes me feel pretty good. I'm gonna go test it on the bench. I always do that. Check it out, this blue one's unsoldered, so maybe, you know, maybe it was unsoldered. Maybe that's why it didn't run so hard. Anyways, I am still gonna want to try it, just to be sure that everything's working tickety-boo. Sounds pretty cool. Actually, I'm gonna lower my voltage here just to see what is the lowest it can run at. You can tell the voltage basically by the light bulb. If the light bulb's very bright, you're probably using a lot of electricity. So that's the first step of my Bachmann power pack, and that's the second step, and already it's turning. You can see the light bulb's hardly glowing, so that's good. It's working very well. I'm gonna clean the front side now. I did the exact same thing to the front truck, just to clean it up and lubricate it. Everything seems to be running good. I'm gonna put the 2 weights back on, and we're gonna go try it on the track. On this particular engine, you do need these weights because the engine is too light. It won't have any traction. So you need them to be able to even move, I think. It might move without it, but you won't pull any freight cars, that's for sure. Just making sure all my wires are exactly where they need to be. It's not the end of the world, but you know, we're here. May as well make it good. This one's on the weight where it shouldn't be. Okay, let's go try that on the track. So let's just put some power on it and see what happens. Oh yeah, big change. It runs pretty good. I'm gonna have it go around the track for a little bit. That should shake down that stalling. Let's do it. So yeah, I just needed a little shakedown. Now it runs beautifully. Cado's not gonna be going out of business, but for the money, I kind of like these. So if you'd like to own this, I'm gonna put it up for sale on my website. It's watchtrainsnow.com. Now I can put the shell back on. It was a little bit of work, but still wasn't that bad. And it just feels good to have that thing running so well. You know, when you start with an engine that doesn't run at all, and you end up with that, it's just a good feeling, you know. We'll have to bring it down even more. There we go. Did you hear that click? Beautiful. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.